Hello friends and family, it's me, Jessie. So today I am at Shigu Park, which is probably like the most popular park in Fuzhou, and it's like extremely crowded, so I feel very weird vlogging. Ow. What was that? But I just sort of accepted that it's going to be super busy, so I'm just gonna vlog anyway. Today I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like living in a private school in China, living at a private school, working in a private school in China, and sort of like what my colleagues are like. So I guess first things first is what is the diversity, I guess, is that like a good word for this, of my workplace like. So my workplace is mostly, oddly enough, a lot of Scottish people and British people, and there's an old man staring at me. Oh, that is always so awkward. But it is a lot of people from Europe. So I think it's because I went through teaching English in China, and that is located in the UK. Not that like there aren't other Americans, and the actual company, the interviewer, is located in the United Kingdom. So I think that the time zones were a lot easier because my interviews for my job were at like 6 a.m. But because of that, there are a lot of people from like New Zealand, Australia, Scotland, Ireland, the United Kingdom, and some Americans. Like as far as like my workplace distribution, there is a minority of Americans, but there is also a lot of Scottish people. My desk, because we have a shared lesson planning space, is on Scottish Island, and I am just walking through the largest group of people. Just the camera right in my face. Oh, there's a lot of people here right now, and they look really weirded out. Like, I'm gonna go this way. Hopefully there'll be less people. The light's bad. I'm sorry. It's sunset. I should have filmed earlier. Anyway, so it's been interesting to find what the diversity of the English language is like. Just because like there's American English, and then there's British English, and then there's Scottish English, and it all sounds a little bit different. Anyway, I'm here. Anyway, it's really, they're bugs. Oh god, I thought those were leaves. They're not leaves, they're bugs. Anyway, as far as like the diversity of the actual English language is concerned, that's neither here nor there. But you might be curious as to what is the distribution of Chinese staff to American staff, because obviously private schools are a business, so they're a little bit different than a public school, because we do have the best interest of students in mind, but there is sort of that money part of it. It's there. It's definitely present. As far as like how many students you get, whether new students come into your class later. But one thing that I don't know, because I don't know this because I don't work in a public school, but there is quite a few Chinese staff. There's probably more Chinese staff than foreign teachers. This lady just turned around because she heard me talking. I think English is a very alien thing to hear in this part of China. But there is a lot more Chinese staff than European Western staff, and so they are there as your TAs and as your sales staff, various other things that sort of do the Chinese part of things. You do have a TA in a private school, so basically they translate things, they help you manage students in the classroom, they talk to parents, they do catch up. Hello couple that sees me. They talk to parents, which you can't really do because the parents don't. Sometimes they speak English, sometimes their English is really good, but sometimes they speak no English, and their grandparents, and then there are lots of things. But they're there to sort of be your partner. It's not so much like they're your teaching assistant in like a college sense, but more so that they're your teaching assistant and that you're a teaching team. And honestly, I love my TAs, and they've been integral to my development as a teacher, and I think it's very important, especially it's very important. Hello. It's very important, especially when you're working with Chinese staff in a tier 2 city, to have a close relationship with them, because you want to be the best representative of your culture that you can, and you're also a team. You're working together every day. You don't have the same TA for every class. I have a different TA for every class. I do have one TA, I love you Maple, who I work together with for 2 classes, one kindergarten class and one Go Beyond class, which are seniors, and she has been very helpful in helping me become a better teacher, because they give you feedback, they manage the class, really they know the students better than you do because they've been with the students longer. So take full advantage of your TAs while you're there and treat them like they're your friend. Be nice to them, help them, let them help you. Be a good partner, you know. As far as like the levels that you teach are concerned, I think this is probably the most different thing from public schools, at least from what I've seen and read. Basically, in public schools, it seems like to me you teach one level, like one grade level, but in a private school, you teach all levels. So I have 3 junior classes, so like 9 to 10-year-olds. I have 2 kindergarten classes, different ages. One's like 5 to 6-year-olds, one's like 4 to 5-year-olds, which are adorable. They speak no English. And it goes from varying levels of semi-fluent, so like 2Bs in English to 1As in English. And depending on their age level, what 2B, what A is means different things, I think, because of their development. And then I also have 1 senior class, which is called Go Beyond. They are from 13 maybe is the youngest, I think she might be 13, to all the way to, I think I have a 17-year-old. And those are the students that I sort of can have conversations with. Not fluently, you still have to grade your language, but that's one of my favorite classes to teach because you can teach more advanced material. So I am doing a project and an essay. Basically, they're going to create a presentation and use that as an outline for an essay. Then after that, we are going to do some vocabulary tests because they use words really strangely and they have a limited understanding of certain words because they get so many words in English when they're in class, and in their Chinese school is very different. Like Chinese school, like English they take in regular school, and it's still different from test English, which I'll get into in a minute. But yeah, so I teach different things, especially things that will help them with natural English a little bit more, and of course grammar, because they've asked for that. I did a survey at the beginning of the class. Grammar was one of the things they wanted to learn, so we're doing more grammar, which is strange because I hated grammar when I was learning Chinese, but it's important. I guess one thing to note too, the school I work for focuses on spoken English rather than test English. Sometimes that can mean losing business, I think, but that's not always a bad thing. I mean, there's got to be somewhere that teaches spoken English, and so keep that in mind. You won't see the same students every day. You will have different classes every day. I see mine for an hour to an hour and a half, 2 times a week. You have a teaching assistant. There are Western staff. So yeah, that part is pretty different from public schools. So maybe I should move on to what you, as a person who doesn't know anybody, in coming to China, not knowing anything, any person, blah blah blah, might be curious about. And that would probably be, what is social life like outside of the office? So what I will say is that it kind of depends. So it depends on the way that your office works, and because of the nature of an ESL job, it's kind of a revolving door job because people come in and come out, so your office is constantly changing, which means the office dynamic is constantly changing. This means that, so you might have a really good group of friends for 6 months, that might dwindle into a smaller group of friends as people move, as my boss said, as bigger personalities come in and out of office. That can sort of polarize the way people hang out, because obviously in an office environment, you can't force people to hang out with each other, but I think that working in an English-speaking office with an open planning area, like we don't have cubicles, does make it a very social job. So it is a little different. You will make friends, but you have to sort of take it upon yourself to make friends. Obviously, in any social situation, as a teacher, you have an inherently social job. So for introverts, that might be draining sometimes. Oh, I gotta hop across some. Hi, I've gotta hop across some rocks real quick. Let me be careful. Do 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 do. Okay. As with any office, you've got to start on your own to make friends. If you're an introverted person, teaching might be a draining job for you because you are interacting with your students, you're interacting with your coworkers. So, like I said, it's an inherently social job. If you're an extrovert, it's probably for you, but you'll still have to make an effort, especially keeping in mind cultural differences, even from different Western countries. What is considered rude in one country? What is, like, are people more direct in one country or more direct in another country? How are they going to approach problems? All of these things will play in, but don't be worried. You will make friends. It just takes time, just like with anywhere. So don't worry too much about isolation, because there is sort of like a social safety net, just for the fact that you live in an open planning office. And when I first came here, people were very quick to try to help me, so that wasn't really a problem for me, at least. So until next time, I will see you guys soon. I hope this answers some of your questions about what it might be like teaching in a private school. And if you have any more questions, as always, please leave them in the comments section down below, and I will get back to them as soon as I can. Anyway, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out my main channel. It's going to be Jessie B. Search Jessie B China on the YouTube search bar up above. Until next time, I will see you guys soon. Later.